to submit their objections electronically. We've also tabled an urgent motion to council, that was 2 weeks ago, requesting that the city manager provide us with evidence of the date of the appointment of the designated municipal valuer. And that is very important because the municipal valuer cannot be appointed after the starting date, which is the 1st of July 2020 of the valuation roll. Now, we've got evidence that indicates that that might have been the case. Also, we haven't received any evidence on the date of the evaluation roll, which is also very important in terms of the act and the process that needs to take place. We've requested from the city and the city manager to provide written support on the method applied by the municipal valuer in determining the property valuations. And no answers has been given to us. It's unclear, so it is a real point of concern for us on how did they arrive on the valuations that they've published. And then lastly, the most important point in that urgent motion was we've requested that the city manager applies to the MEC for local government in Gauteng to extend the current property valuation roll with 12 months. In order for the city to investigate the validity of the market values as determined by the municipal valuer. If we don't get this right, it will mean that all of us that have received property increases from up to 350, there's some people whose properties went up by 1,000%, will have to pay on the new property values from the 1st of July. So this is our main aim, and this is the issue that we're driving, is to get the city to postpone the current valuation roll with 12 months. Now, our urgent motion was rejected by the Speaker of Council and the ANC and its coalition partners. So we've then immediately started with the online petition where we tried to get about 20,000 signatures to allow us to take that petition to the city and the city manager to see if that will not assist us by motivating to the city manager to ask for this extension. We've also submitted some questions for further clarification to the finance department. And then there's questions for verbal answering by the executive mayor in our April council meeting. So this is what we've done up to now to assist our residents. Right. So what our residents should know is that the new property valuation should be as of the 1st of July 2020 and not at the current valuation. And I know that there are lots of people that are requesting estate agents to assist them with property valuations. And I've seen that because many people have sent their objections and motivations to me just to have a look at it. And those valuations are all wrong because it's based on the current market value. So if you are looking at the new value, please make sure that you are feeling comfortable that it's as of the 1st of July 2020. Then just in terms of the term market value, it means it's the fair market value that an informed buyer would have paid for your property on the 1st of July 2020, taking into consideration that we were in the middle of COVID and our economy was at a very low point. So you have to say to yourself, just like what I have to do, if I had to sell my house on the 1st of July 2020, would I have received the 16.5 million that the city have valued my house at on the new roll? Or would I have received maybe 2 million for my house. And possibly the 2 million is the more accurate one because there were not a lot of buyers in the market. So that will be also part of, if you do the objection, that will be part of your motivation that you would put forward. Then any person or organization can object as long as the property owner is informed. So any person in my road or in my suburb or in Ekurhuleni can object against my property value, saying that my property value is much lower than what it should be. Also, the city can object. So the city can look at the role and all of the anomalies and omissions, and they can put their own objection in against my property. And I think it's a very important point to remember, and I'll give you a little bit more detail later on in the presentation. Something else to also know is that the municipal valuer can only adjust the values 10% up or down. So let's say he decided that my 16.5 million was a mistake. He can only reduce my value by 10%. If he reduces it more than 10%, he will have to write a motivation, and that must go to the city manager and then to the appeals committee to then look at his reasons for adjusting it more than 10%. But let's say he comes back to me and say, here's your new objection. We believe that 15 million is still the correct value. Then I, as the property owner, can say, I'm not happy with that, and I will then go to the appeals process, which is the process that will take place after the objection process. Just for information, the city have just finalized the objections and appeals from the 2016 valuation roll. They've received 50,000 appeals, and quite a large portion of that were objections from the city itself. Okay, so a question that I get on a daily basis from our residents is who should object? So residents whose properties were omitted from the valuation roll should object. If your property value increased or decreased by more than 5%, you should object. If your information on the roll is incorrect, your property description, your owner information, or your property category is incorrect, you should object. And then this goes for all property owners, whether you're a commercial property owner, a freehold or a title, 100% title deed owner, a sectional title owner, or if you own agricultural land. If you're not happy with your valuation, you should put an objection in. Now, I've got people whose houses were valued at 7 million in 2016, and their properties are now valued at 1 million. And they said, oh, well, we're happy with our new valuation. For those owners, I would advise them to please go and object, because the city, when they look through the roll, they can object on the roll for that specific property because of the value. They could make a motivation to say that there was a mistake in the calculation. Then that property owner, once the new roll has been published, won't have another opportunity to object. So rather get your objection in, and so that you've got recourse if the city also put an objection in against your property value. And what I've put in here is I've just put the FNB house price index in, just for people to see that the property index for June 2020 was 0.7%. That means that our property should only have gone up by plus minus 1%. So in terms of people that have received these high new property values, they should really take a serious decision to make the effort to object against it. Now, where can you find your new property value? The Section 49 letters were delivered by Mr. Delivery. And it should be in your post box, but in some foot canvassing that we've done over the last couple of weeks, I found letters in flower pots, like you can see in my photo here. I found them just in driveways, stuck to the fence. So just make sure that you look out for these letters. They might be anywhere in your property. So that will give you the indication. If you haven't received your letter yet, or the dog ate it, or it rained and you can't read what's been printed, you can also go to one of the objection centers. There are 19 of them, and that is our customer care centers. And you'll find a valuation roll there, and you will be able to look up your